Hello there, and thank you so much for joining us today right here on Transforming Families. This is CAC TV, and my name is Faith Kaulu. Each time I'm here, I'm excited because then this means that it is yet another opportunity for us to discuss matters that are very key to our family. And with me on today's episode is Reverend Edward Karanja, who's a minister with the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, as well as a marriage and family therapist. Thank you so much, Trey, for being here today.
Thank you very much, Faith, for the invitation and the welcome and the opportunity to be part of this Transforming Families program. It's a great program that I love so much because here we always say, stable families for a stable society. Welcome.
Yeah, and at the very far end is Professor Catherine Gashuda, who is a counseling psychologist, as well as the director of the Kenya Institute of Business and Counseling Studies. Prof, always an honor to have you.
Thank you so much, Faith and Lefred. And like we always say, family is work, but it is worth the work.
It is worth the work at the end of the day. Well, today we are handling a very hot topic. So in case you have any distractions, put that aside because you need to concentrate and interact with us on our socials. Facebook and YouTube is CAC TV Kenya. We are talking about infidelity in marriage. And want to lay things bare. We want to be as real and as raw as we could be. Prof and Rev, we know that it happens. We've seen it online for those who've had the situations or cases leaked. Sad, let me say so, but and we've seen it in our families as well. People we know, and as counselors, I believe you've handled such cases as well. I don't know where to start from, but I think let's begin with what infidelity is. Let's begin easy. What is infidelity?
Thank you very much, Faith, and thank you for looking at me to start to start on this. And we want to really discuss this freely, like you have put it, because it is what is happening today. It's what's ailing the society today. And it is important that we bring it life here to all of us. Infidelity, in its simplest way, is when one cheats on their spouses in matters sex, like you're having another relationship outside of the marriage. So in simple words, any time we talk about infidelity, it's like all we talk about is that you're not being faithful to your partner sexually. And sometimes it may not be sexually, it even be emotional infidelity. It may be financial infidelity. But whenever you talk about infidelity, the one comes to mind immediately is sexual immorality. That's what comes to mind. But probably we'll also look at it beyond just the sexual infidelity to even the emotional infidelity.
Okay.
Yes.
I think you've said it in a right way. I hadn't even pictured that. It's true. When you mention infidelity, we always think cheating sexually. Because when you mentioned about financial infidelity, I was like, okay. Yeah. And Prof, maybe you could expand more on what Rev has said about other forms of infidelity as well.
Yeah. And many a times people will think about the sexual unfaithfulness. But they are not thinking about emotionally. This person who has sex with the spouse, but you're thinking about another person out there whom you're becoming very close with, and you're not concentrating even with your spouse, you're concentrating with the partner out there. You may not have had sex with those partners that we are talking about out there, but the fact that you think about this person, you do things to this person, and you are always chatting with this person, means that you have really invested into that relationship. And many a times, even when couples are fighting in their marriage, they may not be fighting because someone became unfaithful in the sense of physically having a sexual relationship with those partners out there, but it's because of the emotional intimacy between a partner and those others that are out there that they are having association with. Because things about that chatting or even messaging that people do, they may not be having sexual intercourse, but there they are. They are not devoted to their marriage. They are devoted to those others that are out there. So it's important to think about it, and we also need studies to be done so that we can see the harm and danger of emotional unfaithfulness or infidelity, because we may be very shocked that it is at a higher preference than the actual physical sexual unfaithfulness and infidelity.
Okay, wow. Rev, when you talked about financial infidelity, able to expound more on that?
It's unfaithfulness. It's whereby I have the family resources, but the resources are not disclosed.
Okay.
I am cheating on them.
Okay.
So I'm using them and I'm diverting them to something else that is not for the use of the family. It's all for the benefit of the family. So I'm not being faithful financially. I am taking those finances and I divert them and I use them for something that will not benefit the family. Neither really benefit me, but is going to someone else.
Okay.
So that's the unfaithfulness financially. Yes.
So this person, does it have to be someone that you have an intimate relationship with, or it could be a family member, as long as you're not disclosing it to your partner?
It might be a family member. It may be someone you're having a sexual relationship with. Funny enough, men may even have a financial infidelity with fellow men. Like I'm diverting money. Maybe my salary is 10,000. I have bonuses at the place of work that maybe goes to 15, that makes it 15,000 or 10,000, 5,000 more, and I use this money to probably go drink or support. I have become an enabler of someone else's behavior by that money, but I'm not disclosing this to my wife. So the finances are not being of help to the family. Okay. Yes. Wow. The unfaithfulness generally.
I hadn't seen it that way. Yes. Let me be honest, because I thought, if you have money, you don't I hadn't just pictured it that way. Let me just put it that way.
Yes,
I think that's the best way to say it. Hakuna kusugarcoat.
Yes. Yeah. You have the money, but nobody knows about the money. Your wife does not know, or your husband doesn't know the money. And I think many times when we talk about infidelity, and we only think about sexual infidelity, it's just like the way you talk about immorality. When we talk about immorality, people will simply think immorality on cheating sexually. But you see, morality is beyond that. Okay. It is even, you can be even immoral with your words. Immorality is not just about sleeping around. Immorality ni tabia mbaya. Na ukiambiwa fulani ana tabia mbaya, wacha na mwanamke ana tabia mbaya sana. We all think that they go sleeping around. But tabia mbaya si kulala tu na wanaume wengine ama na wanawake wengine. Tabia mbaya could be kutukanana, wizi, all that is tabia mbaya. But there's a way tabia mbaya, immorality is seen as only that particular one. Infidelity is only seen as that. Even the emotional infidelity, no one really thinks about it. We only think about the sleeping around together. Yes.
Okay. Wow, my mind is being
so it's
opened
cheating.
here. So it's cheating.
Yes.
Whether you are helping a relative or a friend or what, as long as you haven't disclosed it to your partner,
it's cheating.
Breaking news is that's cheating. Wow. So there's a lot. There's a lot to this, and there's a lot to do in marriage, other than just not sleep with anyone else.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't make you safe at all.
Yes.
Wow. Hiya. Okay. But the big elephant in the room, or what tops the list when we talk about infidelity, in all honesty, is having a sexual relationship with someone else who is not your partner. And I'll come to you direct, Rev, with this question, because there's no other way to do it. Is it true that all men cheat? Because it has been said, it has been believed, it has been preached, it has been taught, and it's almost becoming something normal because we have accepted that sawa, all men cheat, wewe usipojua una bahati, but it has happened.
I don't know, Faith, how we're going to take this, or you tell the viewers to take the children away so that we can be able to be a little bit raw in this.
Yeah.
It has been said that all men cheat. And it has been said that all men would always desire that extra pussy around. Like you are at home, she's okay, and it's not about what the woman is doing. It's not about what she's not doing. She could be having all those dog style, monkey styles, name them, but there is the
children asleep, please.
And still the guy wants that extra. So it's not anything that she's not doing. And even like what had been mentioned here by Prof about the emotional infidelity. The man will have emotional infidelity with a woman. You know, think about another woman. They may not be in a relationship. He may not even be talking to that girl. Maybe they have never even said hello. But the guy has looked into the lady, has undressed her. Undressed her, imagines having sex with her, gets aroused, and he is having sex with the wife.
Oh, okay.
But he is not really making love to the wife.
But to someone else.
To someone else. So you see this guy closing the eyes and all enjoying you, being aroused, but it is not the lady here. He is having that other lady over there. And that other lady there is not like even they talk. No, it could be someone anaonanga labda kwa ofisi wanashinda na yeye nini, anamwangalia, anamsindikiza kwa macho, anauliza Jehovah, you know, how can I have this lady? You know, escort her. And imagine her, you know, undress her, really, you know, and he can even be seated in the office all alone or in the workplace ama kwa biashara. Anamwangalia akienda anamsindikiza, anashinda labda maybe workplace, maybe kwa biashara, kwa mtumba wapi unauza, anashinda akimwangalia, anamtoa nguo, anamimagine, he even gets aroused. By the time he gets home, he's saturated with her in the mind. Might go and even enjoy, you know, love making with the wife. And the wife may be like, my hubby is all over me, and I feel.
Kumbe. Oh my goodness.
When the compensation ya msee mwingine yako nje. So that can easily happen. It is being said enough men will even do that to be able to enjoy the woman in the house. So for the sake of this working, one goes out. Usiogope Prof. Hii ni maisha.
I am listening to you, Reverend. The monkey styles. I want to see the one for the monkey.
So it does happen. Even many men, by the time, there are 2 or 3 ways for men to be able to get to the physical infidelity, physical sleeping or sexual relationship with another woman. But the first one that I've said is that, whereby it's not physical. It is just imagination, the thinking, and that's it. Another one is the lady that you could be flirting around with. You start flirting, you flirt with her, until you get into feeling her. Until finally you're imagining making love to her and you're with your spouse at home. And that could be happening. So there's that one whereby you have not even talked to the lady. You have never even told her anything. Yet you still are emotionally attached to them. There is this other one where you flirt around. And you chat and you flirt and you flirt and you flirt. It may finally end up into a physical one or may never. But it's still there. You know, you may find someone, ameficha simu yake, anatuma tu emoji, akicheka, akismile. If you ever grab that phone, you may even think they're sleeping around.
Just flirting.
It's just flirting. It may be now the one that goes physical. And most of it that goes physical, maybe even the man never pursued. It could be the girl who pursued the relationship. And finally they get physical. And it is said majority of the men will have that other physical relationship with that lady, and all they require is the intercourse. There's no love involved. Majority is just the intercourse. But this man, and we'll be talking about it probably later, the man will remain faithful to the wife and to the children in terms of, let me use a better word, he'll be responsible, a responsible husband.
Watch out faithfulness. Yes, okay.
He'll be a responsible husband. Alipe school fees, alipe nyumba, anulie mke wake atengeneze nywele vizuri. He will spend more money on the wife than on the mistress.
Okay.
Because all he needs on the other girl probably is just sexual intercourse and nothing else. And that's why you'll find a man who will cheat a woman, that other girl there. Tell her I love you, you're good, you're beautiful, I don't even like my wife. Not that he doesn't like the wife. It's because he wants that girl to fulfill his sexual desires. Because the wife he says he doesn't like,
he's still
2 years down the line, he's still with them.
Yeah.
Then few years down the line, she's pregnant again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She had one baby, she's pregnant again with another baby, the same lady that like. So he tells you he loves you, yet he's not divorcing the wife for you. And he's even with you when it is convenient. But when it is Valentine's, when it is Christmas, when it is Easter, during the holidays that the familia,
or his birthday,
hapatikani akona jamii yake.
Yeah.
That is the man who is a responsible husband, a responsible father, but irresponsible with the mistress. But the mistress may think the other way around.
Okay.
Of course, there are very few men, very few, who will get into that other relationship because they think the other woman is a better pick than the wife, and will finally drift into that woman and even move in with them, and they get engaged there. So there are different stages at where this particular gentleman is in their life.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, you have laid bare all the secrets.
Yeah, they have
how
come
it
out.
happens.
And I'm sure some men don't like me after as I say this,
after
like
this,
seriously, what unatoa siri zetu zote alafu.
But there's a question, Rev, you haven't answered. Now, what you've just told us, is that something that happens with all men? Do all men do that?
I have said it is said.
It is said.
It is said all men. But since I have not done a research personally, I have not gone asking around. But the majority of the people that have come to me, the ladies, some of them are those that I least expected the men could be cheating.
Okay.
Least expected. Honorable people in the society. Honorable, men and women, even in the church. People you thought had the best marriage. You look at the way the husband and the wife are on a Sunday, on a holiday together with the family, taking the holiday out. You look at their profile photos. You look at the Facebook. A father carrying the kids all over. Amebeba bibi yake. Wamebebana kwa beach.
Yeah.
People you least expected that could be doing that. But it's interesting that those that look very romantic around their wives, unfortunately, are also the ones that cheat more.
Okay.
You see those that look very hard, not romantic.
Her baby handbag.
Ashiki bibi mkono, amuiti sweetheart.
Yeah.
Those vimututu,
Okay. Yeah.
Vijama tu vya mtaani. You have, little stories of their cheating and all that.
Yeah.
Right? But the lovey-dovey guys, the majority of them, you'll hear they have another relationship outside. Of course, wengi wataruka, lakini akifuata sana nashikwa. So you're asking, is that every man? It is said.
It is said.
It is said every every man has another relationship or has had another relationship outside of marriage. Even though men who, by the time they got married, they had never had another girlfriend. The wife was the first girlfriend. But while in marriage, they have had a girlfriend outside of marriage.
Okay.
And unfortunately, majority of their girlfriends are married women. It's not single girls.
Okay.
It's married women. I remember a gentleman who says he can never date a single woman because relationship itajulikana. But a married woman, as she protects herself,
she also protects.
She protects her image. She also protects his image.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is said.
It is said.
It is said.
Prof, there's a question I'd like to ask you. Picture yourself in a marriage and your husband goes out, and later on, of course, because of guilt and all that, he says, hey, but what I'm doing is wrong, and ends that relationship. As a woman, would you prefer them to come and tell you, you know, by the way, in 2012 to 2015 this happened, but now we are good, that has never happened again? Or you'd prefer to never know about it and live happily ever after?
Right. I am thinking because there is Catherine and there is Catherine, the therapist.
Yeah.
And both of them, when I think about it, I would want to be told.
Okay.
Because many a times, even when you're not told, you suspect. There is something about unfaithfulness in marriage when it comes to sexual unfaithfulness that is very telling. Because you come with a guilt. And there are certain things that you do with your guilt. And for some people, they are going to be very harsh on you. Even denying you sex, or even denying you even finances.
Yeah.
Because there is something that they are doing that is making them not be able to connect with you in the way they need to. So I would want to be told rather than being taken through dramas of life that I cannot understand.
Yeah.
That I'm getting insulted, I cannot understand the reason as to why I have been called what I've been called. Or someone has withdrawn completely, I'm trying to understand why the person has withdrawn, and it's very difficult for me to understand. So I think when you know, you can deal with the knowing, you can deal with the hurt and pain and bitterness and the resentment that comes with knowing rather than not knowing. Because not knowing takes you through a situation that you're not able to understand completely.
Yeah.
And it is very exhausting, and you get stressed and you're not understanding. You're saying, I can't lay a finger on what I am going through, but there is something big that I'm going through.
Yeah.
So we would better know this is a problem and deal with the problem. Whether we decide, let's separate. If you can't stop it, I can't handle it, let me go my way.
Yeah.
Rather than not knowing.
Rather than not knowing.
Can I interject?
Yeah, for sure.
Please do.
Yeah.
I like the Catherine, the therapist, that would love to be told so that they deal with it, they talk about it.
Yeah.
I doubt not Karanja, the therapist. Karanja, the man will confess. The chances of him confessing is 1 over 100.
Okay.
99%
Maybe on their
probability.
deathbed.
99% probability is that he will not confess. You'll get hold of him
Yeah.
as a wife, and he will say things are not the way you think they are.
Yeah.
Because you see, when Catherine the therapist is told, they will deal with it. She'll understand why unaongeleshwa vibaya, then deal with it, whereby you decide whether we are going to separate, separate, or how to deal with it. Dealing with it means you either separate so that I take that other woman and comes into the house, or we deal with it, I stop that other. But you see, now the man cheating is not willing to do either of the two. He's not ready to leave the wife, because if that lady comes in between him and the wife, she's the one to go.
Yeah.
The wife remains. So you see, now the one cheating is not willing to leave.
Yeah.
To leave the wife. The other thing, he does not want to leave that other behavior. So that's why the cheater, the man cheating, don't assume that women also don't cheat.
We can cheat. We are getting to that.
So don't assume that the guy cheating is ready to leave he's happy that he's, because he goes out there, he has his fun, comes home sorted. So when he comes home sorted, he comes home a very nice guy. Because one, hataki vituko asijulikane.
Yeah.
So hata saizi ukimwambia na ukumbuke nyama, na ukumbuke mkate, na nini ingine,
ataleta hadi yenye hajaitishwa.
So he comes home a very happy guy. So if he confesses, it means you tell him to leave that other one, or now there is more tension in the house. The kid might get involved. Remember, the cheating guy wants to be very nice. He's a good daddy. So the children knows daddy and mommy are good. This is the best relationship to be in. If he confesses, the kids might get into the mix.
Yeah.
And they will start looking at him as a bad guy, as a cheater, as a, you can talk about all those things.
Okay.
So now, that's why for the therapist it's good to deal with, the issue.
Yeah.
But for the gentleman, on the other hand, I doubt he'll be willing to confess. Because I've had these situations where, a case comes up and a man denies. And he said, told the wife, like one was very funny. Like, yani seriously, unaweza kunifikiria hivyo? Kwani unanionanga namna gani? And the wife was even sorry that she had suspected the guy because of the way he was apologetic.
Yeah.
And so, of course, as a minister, you have sessions with different persons. And so the guy confesses. And then he says, nani anaweza kubali kushikwa? How would I?
Okay.
And you sit there and you're like, the way this guy looked innocent until the wife had to apologize for suspecting him. Even. So that's why I was interjecting, saying it's okay to be told and deal with it, lakini mwenye kukuambia ndio sioni.
Kama atasema.
Yeah, because they are dealing with something in the inside. Just like you have said, he doesn't want to leave this marriage. He would still want to stick in this marriage. And I see another dimension when it comes to unfaithfulness, because it's unfaithfulness to the wife, but it's also or the spouse, but also unfaithfulness to oneself. You are betraying that person, but the worst betrayal that happens when one has infidelity issues is your own self-betrayal. When you betray yourself, you're betraying your beliefs. Lefred is talking about people he knows. So these are church-going people. And therefore you have your own values, you have your own beliefs, you have your own philosophies, but you have sacrificed those at the altar of your own infidelity.
Yeah.
At the altar of your own lust, even.
Yeah.
That's very powerful, because that's exactly what happens. You sacrifice your principles, and so you start even changing the principles. And thank you for bringing that up. That's when you start hearing people saying marriage is a scam. Marriage was never meant to be. I think people should even be, in contracts or whatever, because there is something inside of you that is fighting with you.
Okay.
And of course, as a Christian, if you're a Christian, then there is also the issue of the vows you took. So you're also trying to fight with those vows you took. If something goes wrong in your family, you think, is it because I went against the vows? But again, we were saying, do all men cheat? I say, it is said. And
it is said.
And do they confess? Do they want to confess so that
No.
we deal with it? No.
Never. In fact,
hata
never.
akishikwa pap anasema sio hivyo unadhani. Si nimeona mmeshika kiuno ukuona vizuri.
Okay, let's take a very short break, guys. When we come back, Prof, of course, we also have to put the spot on you and ask about women and infidelity. So, dear viewer, keep interacting with us on our socials. YouTube and Facebook is CAC TV Kenya. Leave your comments there. We'll get to them. But right about now, let's take a break and we'll see you in a few.
thanking you for the many things that you have done for our lives.
Psalm 95:6. Come, let us bow down in worship.
We acknowledge thy gift of life. We acknowledge thy gift of salvation, O God.
Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker.
Gracious Father, we come to thee this morning with thanksgiving in heart. Thank you, God, for giving us an opportunity to live this day and to serve you.
For from him, and through him, and for him are all things.
I believe in God the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and the earth, and I believe in Jesus Christ.
Join our worship services every Sunday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on CAC TV. All right, welcome back and thank you so much for keeping it right here. This is Transforming Families, and in case you're joining us right now, on today's episode we are talking about infidelity in marriage. And we asked the question, do all men cheat? If you missed it, here you are catching about women and infidelity. Because as much as Prof, we know that men and the word cheating has been viewed as an almost okay thing, we are also told that women cheat. And in fact, for them, they're very careful never ever to be caught or never ever to show signs. And it is said that then when a woman cheats, they not only cheat, you know how Rev was telling us a man can cheat but still be devoted to their family. Now for a woman it's different, because then when she cheats with her whole. She invests emotionally and everything with the other person as well, either because you've hurt her or because you don't give her some good loving, So tell us about women cheating, and is it true that they are good at that?
Right. First and foremost, we have had a lot of studies that have been carried out regarding infidelity between men and women. And a 2018 General Social Survey indicated that for 2 men who cheats, there is 1 woman who is cheating.
Okay.
And that survey has been corroborated by one for America Association of Marriage and Family Therapy, that for 2 men who are cheating, 1 woman is cheating. As a therapist, yes, we have had situations, or we go through situations where in this case it's not the man who is cheating, but the woman is the one who is cheating. And they are comfortable with the cheating. And a woman will say, you're not affectionate to me, you are not there for me, I don't feel you. I have tried all things to bring you close to me, but I really don't feel you at all. So for most women, when they feel that emotionally they are not getting attended to, they will look for a person out there who is taking care of them emotionally, and start becoming affectionate to those people or that man, and eventually they will have coitus with this person. So yeah, there is a lot of cheating that happens. For women who are much older, there were so many threats. And there was a lot of stigma for a woman who is cheating her spouse. That stigma is not there for the younger generation, and therefore they can do it without restraint. If they want to have a lover out there, they will do it. And therefore, when it comes to the counselor's office, we handle a lot of infidelity, both coming from males, which is more, and also coming from the women. So it is there, and it hurts the marriage. If there is something that hurts a marriage, to a point of breaking, separation, and eventual divorce, it is the unfaithfulness and infidelity.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because that was my next question. That is cheating enough ground for one to leave their partner? Because Kitambo, since we are told all men cheat, people will not allow say hi only because of that, for that reason, or is there something else? And they say, no, my man is cheated, like, hiya, go back, as long as he comes back to you. So I like the fact that you've gone ahead, you know, and say that if there's something that hurts a marriage, it's that.
And actually nowadays we are having couples who do not mind if they give each other permission to go and have sexual intercourse with other people out there. You get satisfied, you get contented, and then come back. So that's an emerging issue. That's a different scenario from where one is getting cheated, because these ones are giving each other permission, and it goes even to the extent of a woman is not having a relationship with a man out there, but having a relationship with another woman. Yeah, it's a lesbian relationship that is getting permitted. Go and satisfy yourself, but come back. These are the rules and regulations that we have within our marriage, but go and satisfy yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And before we get that, there is the survey that Prof talked about.
Yeah.
And that's in that survey, it talked even about the ages of cheating. And whilst men cheat more in the younger years, you know, from the moment you get married, many men will cheat a lot up to about 50 years. They start going down on the cheating, because there are many other factors that come around. They say women on the other hand, they will not cheat. Hardly would a woman be cheating up to about of the age of 40, 45.
Okay.
They say most women will have other relationships, especially between the ages of 40 and 60. That's when they will, while the man is thinking the woman is old, that's the moment the woman will have other relationships more, they say, because the children are grown.
Okay.
She has time to concentrate on herself. You will find women in their 45, 50s, in their 50s, between 45 and about 60, they dress very nice because they have time to think about themselves. They have all the time on the mirror. There's no baby to breastfeed. There's no kid holding their dress around. So with all this attractiveness, there is a way now they can even think sexual. But when they are younger and they are breastfeeding babies, they are bathing babies, they are going to work, the last thing they want to think about is being sexual. But the moment they are now kids are a little bit bigger, can take care of themselves, a woman concentrates on themselves. The man, on the other hand, when the woman is busy breastfeeding, kuosha mtoto, the young man is running around with women. By the time the man is 45, 50, he thinks more on investment. Rika yake watu wameinvest, wamenunua hii. So he starts taking big loans.
Okay.
So even in terms of spending, he has a bigger problem. So that's why they say the younger people spend more than the older people. The older people, before they spend their money, is very difficult. So yet the woman can spend because she's no longer insecure. Her children are grown. She almost feels her security is no longer with the husband. Her security is with the children. So they were also looking into that demographics, that even women, more women, because they were saying this in the survey, that out of every one cheating woman, there are 2 men cheating. But the survey was saying the women almost outdo women. Women outdo men in cheating by the time they go to the advanced ages later in life. Yes, I just wanted to add up to that.
Yeah, and thank you for that. And looking at what Prof said about infidelity and just cheating in general being a factor that leads to divorce in a lot of marriages, I'd ask you, Rev, from the cases you've handled, from friends you've interacted with, will a man leave their wife because of cheating? Because I know for a fact women have stayed in relationships because they're like, if it's cheating, then who doesn't cheat, you know? Biblically,
cheating, sexual sex outside marriage. Let me use that because
Yeah,
when you say
okay.
that infidelity, let's zero it down.
Yeah.
Biblically, sex outside of marriage is a reason for divorce. Is a case for divorce. It's permitted in the Bible. That's the only reason why we would get separated. But enough people have stayed in their marriages even when they have realized their spouses are cheating. And that includes men. When men will say, if my wife cheats, sleeps with another man, it's done. Have a number of people who have stayed in a relationship because it almost puts you in a catch-22. And again, I know we are in a public TV.
Christian TV.
Public Christian TV.
Yeah.
Yes, and so it happens that the moment you are in that situation is a catch-22. You have a wife who is 50 plus. She has gone out sleeping with another person. You have discovered that. You are also 50 plus as a man. That's where I am. Now, do I divorce and then go begin afresh?
Okay.
So what happens? I divorce this woman and then the children, and I go start afresh. Because I have dealt with those situations where one is almost in catch-22. I think the best option is to make this marriage work. It's a very bad situation to be in because you're not there because you want. You're there because of the circumstances under which you are in. It is the same situation sometimes women will find when they tell you, well, mwanaume gani huwa hachit. It sometimes is a way of encouraging yourself because you look at your options out. You have 3 kids, you have 2 kids in this marriage. If you opt out, are you going to start afresh? Where will you get this other man that you know? Suppose you get married and the man you have gone to again cheats. So you start thinking, which is a better way? I would rather deal with this. And you encourage yourself as a Christian, you say, forgive 77 times. Forgive 77 times, 70 times. Eh? Forgive, and even though your sins are as red as scarlet,
They shall be as white as snow.
They shall be as white as snow. That moment now you find every scripture that can be able to support you at that moment. So that's why I'm saying sometimes the reason why people will stay in a relationship, even when there is infidelity in it, it is the catch-22. It's the reasoning out, you think out which is the better option in this. Then you find yourself staying in a relationship as a result of the same. And like it was said by Prof earlier on, infidelity is one of the key reasons for divorce.
Yeah.
Yes. Because the moment you sit around with your spouse, even when you want to make love with them, and you imagine they were with someone else, you can easily switch off. Your whole system can just go boom, kaput.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Kaput kabisa.
kaput. And then I'd ask the question, why do people cheat? Why do men cheat? Why do women cheat? Because at the end of the day, if you, in a case where you are caught and you don't want, your marriage to end, so you deny or you leave this other person, then here comes the question from the very beginning, why then did you pursue them? I'd like to hear from you both as professionals as well, counselors and psychologists.
Like I said at one time, it's self-betrayal because you have values and you have beliefs that you would really have wanted to keep and yet you haven't kept them. Why? Because for some people they are addicted to sex. And this may be coming from early life experiences with issues regarding sex. And if a person has not healed from those issues that they went through, like sexual molestation and all that when one is young, in the formative stages, then one can turn out to become a sex addict. And when you are a sex addict, you are craving. You have a wife or you have a husband, but you have a crave for sex that cannot be satisfied by your spouse. So you go out there to go and look for sex just like an addict does when it comes to the drinking. That means that such a person would require therapy for them to be able to handle that urge that they have. The other thing is when you feel this marriage is so unfulfilling for me. I'm not feeling attended to, I'm not feeling loved, I'm not feeling cared for, I'm not feeling respected, I'm not feeling appreciated, you're feeling empty in your marriage relationship, and you go looking for solace. And in looking for solace, you find yourself having sex. For some people, it may be very accidental.
Okay.
Accidental in the sense that you didn't plan for it, but just like Lev said, you're looking at a woman and you can see how beautiful she is, and in the spur of the moment, there you are, you have had sex. And later on, you're asking yourself, what got into me for me to do that? Meaning that this person had not thought through, you know, the whole process from the very beginning to the very end, amejikuta. So it becomes very, very accidental. So yeah, the reasons are many. Some of them are emotional, psychological, and most of them really are emotional and psychological. Because if you do not have discipline, because for some of them it's not even addiction, but you don't have discipline in terms of putting boundaries. You're writing these messages, you're still connecting with this person and investing in this person, but you're not stopping yourself from doing that until when you find yourself that you have gotten into an engagement of extramarital affairs. So lack of discipline is another issue that ravages marriages in a very big way. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Prof has said it all. And it's good to seek medical attention and more so therapy, especially if you have a dysfunction in matters sexual. If sexual discipline, because most people will have sex with everyone and anyone they come along. You ask them why, they do not know. So it's important to even like seek treatment. Go to a therapist, get treated. It's a condition.
Okay.
You can have it, and you know it's good to tell yourself. This one where like you see an old woman, a young woman, ugly, beautiful, and you're okay to have sex with any. You need to get help. It's important. The other one is the one that you said is lack of boundaries. It is good to know your boundary. Which is my boundary? I am a man. Before I am a reverend, I am a man. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I got babies through sex. I did not pray, lay hands on my wife, and she got a baby. I did not. So if I have a woman that I am giving a ride in my car today, tomorrow, the day after, and she's all over my life, before I know it, we will go sexual. So it's good to have boundaries and tell yourself, this is the boundary I am going. These I'm not crossing. So that you can also even be able to tell someone is crossing the boundary. On the other hand, if I start texting someone and we start joking, because these things begin like easy. The other reason you have the sex is because you lack of boundaries. Start texting each other. Before you know it, mmekunywa kahawa. Before you know it, mmeanza mchezo. Before you know it, you are at it.
Yeah.
So that is it. And then of course, watch the environment you are in. There's an environment you can put yourself in, and it can be a problem. Like have a slogan: I don't put myself in a place of pain deliberately.
Okay.
If I know there is a party and the people there don't like me and they may hurt me, I will not put myself in a place of pain deliberately. I can excuse myself and not be there. If people are having, I find guys having a cup of tea and I know this is a place of pain, I'll excuse myself. So there is a way you don't put yourself in a place of compromise deliberately. If I'm left in the house with a woman, a lady comes to visit us, my wife has traveled and she's here in the house, and we are the two of us, nobody else is there, and we stay there for a day or 2 or 3, I am putting myself in a precarious position, and this can get me into trouble, no matter how disciplined you are. So you also don't put yourself in a situation that is so compromising that can put you into challenge. The other reason why people cheat, finally, because there are many prophets has mentioned all of them, exploration. men will always feel like, why not try out? Why not want that other
experiment?
You know, want to explore. Like, hey, you know, I hear nasikianga kuna ma design, ma style zingine. So wacha nikajichoche. Let me let me also go chocha nisikie kuna kuanga aje. You know, especially these guys, like maybe you got into a relationship and your first woman became your wife, eh? So you sit back there imagining probably maybe kuna my experience zingine sijui. Maybe kuna kitu ingine sielewangi. So that curiosity of what happens across the fence. So there is that curiosity and exploration. So it's not generally that's because people are immoral and all that. Kuna ka curiosity na kaio kufikiria wacha nikaangalie kwa neighbor kuna pikango aje.
Chakula jirani na kuanga tamu.
Inakuanga aje.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about another extramarital affair that happens within the house. And some people will explain it away, but it hurts the person who is feeling cheated. And this is when one is masturbating.
Okay.
A partner is masturbating, you may be masturbating in the bedroom, or even turning the other side and masturbating, or even going to another room and masturbating. The partner feels cheated, you feel betrayed, you feel not good enough, you feel not complete, you feel angry. It goes through the same rigors that one goes through when a partner has cheated with another person.
So that's also viewed as cheating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is an extramarital affair.
Okay, interesting.
Affair with yourself.
And this is the reason why you're able to even get into it and go all the way, because we dealt with these things.
Yeah.
It's because that woman or that man has another man or woman in mind. The one they're making love with. That's why they're able to masturbate and go all the way to the end.
Wow. So what if your partner is away and you want to, you know, not cheat on him with someone else? Then when you masturbate, is that viewed as okay, or it's also cheating?
I don't know.
What it does is that it has a lot of impact on oneself. There are people who don't feel guilty, but there's some people who feel intensely guilty. And even when the partner comes back, you try to have sex with your partner and you're not able to, because there is what you did against the partner in a sense, because it was not sex to the partner, it was sex with yourself. So many a times what we pick, especially in therapy, is that guilt. That guilt, unable to forgive oneself and feeling like you sinned against yourself, and you're not able to overcome.
Okay. Wow.
That should, maybe we may need to discuss this another day.
Yeah.
Because there is even something else that is emerging, which is the social, the distant sex, where one turns on the video of themselves, being the kid, the partner turns on their video on the other end, and they make love. So they are masturbating, but with each other.
With each other.
They are masturbating with each other. They are having the distant sex, and they are doing it on the video. You know, that's something that is also emerging. These are new trends. I never learned this at KIPCO when I did counseling. When I went to Kemu to do my counseling, I did not learn that. But it, you know, this met me. It was new to me. You know, when this issue came to me and it was being discussed, and the reason as to why it came to me is because the wife and the husband had done it, because one had traveled. I don't want to mention the details. One had traveled, they did it. Now one is feeling they are being denied because 2-3 days later the other person is not doing it. And so the other person comes back and they have a fight over that. Why did you not do it to me? Kwani, what was happening that you did not need me on this side? Now that was new. I had not known about that. It just boom came to the table.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. And I thank you, Prof, for mentioning that about masturbation, because let me say influencers or people who have a huge following on different social media platforms are coming out to say it's okay to do it. Actually, yesterday I was watching a video where I think 3 were seated and they were playing games, and so one asked the other 2, how often do you touch yourself? All of them are married, and they were answering that question, and they said at the end of the day, they said, ladies, it's okay when you do this, even in marriage. And you see, this is the kind of content that is out there that people are consuming. And so for you to mention that, I didn't know, because I'm from watching a video that said you're married and you're doing it, it's okay. And then here you're telling us, you know what, that's a form of cheating, and it does something to you and it has an impact. I'm just like, well, let's put it out there for people to watch as well, and for people to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, you know, like we would do this a late night program whereby we can even be able to talk about, you know, making love. Because the reason as to why a partner will, you know, excite themselves, a lady will, you know, do masturbate, is because probably when she makes love to the husband, she does not attain orgasm. Because probably the husband comes in quickly, finishes whatever he's doing, and he goes. So she feels left out. So the only way is to excite herself until she gets there. That's why it's important. And when I do premarital counseling, one of the key topics I discuss is sex, because it's so important to know how to do it and do it right.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Let's wrap it up now, because my director is deafening my ear, telling me time is up, guys. I know there's a lot to discuss, but as we come to a conclusion, there's something he's telling me that you mentioned, Rev, about, you know, being with someone in the same space. You mentioned having your wife's friend over and he's not around, and he's telling me, but what about self-control? You know, see, you just control yourself, Connie. It's that hard.
It is easier said than done.
Okay.
The space you are in, if you create a conducive atmosphere for infidelity, it shall sure happen.
Okay.
So the best thing, instead of putting yourself into such a situation, run. The Bible incidentally says, flee sexual immorality.
Yeah.
You can resist the devil, but you cannot resist sexual immorality. When it comes to sex, and there's a lady here, you are left in this house, there is nobody else, ni nyinyi wawili. If one of you starts getting interested, and both of you have an easy, feelings, you will easily get into it. Because if you are a man and a lady is next to you, and hakuna mtu mwingine na nyumba imefungwa, and you're sure you're secure, aanze kutoa nguo, utamwambia shindwe katika jina la Yesu. Atoe ya pili, ashindwe. Atoe ya nne, sasa ni nini? Atoe hiyo ingine, sawa tunaisiwe ni kawaida. You know, so
yeah.
So the best option, run. Otherwise you resist, atishindwe. Hiyo shindwe sauti itaenda ikienda chini. And before you know it, kaboom.
Wow, all right. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for keeping it as real as it could be. I appreciate it. It's not easy to talk about such things openly, especially in our society today, where we are still yet to accept, and especially to see parents talk about these things. I mean, what do you mean? You know, I think it's refreshing, and it's something that is necessary and needed, and I'm glad that we're putting this out there. But before we wrap it up, maybe you could leave our viewers with your parting shots.
Discipline is very important when it comes to sex. Marking boundaries, as Lefred has said, because places that we go, people that we are with, and the things that we treat our eyes to, they are things that entice us to be unfaithful. So for you to keep away from that, then you have to know your boundaries and mark them very clearly.
Okay.
Infidelity is painful. It is painful to you, the one who is cheating. It is painful to the person if they discover you're doing it. They will forgive you, but it will be hard for them to forget. The best thing to do, try as much as you can, no matter how difficult it is, and remain faithful to your partner. Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Wow, thank you all for today, and thank you to you, dear viewer, for tuning in. Interact with us. Let us know what you'd like us to handle, any questions you think we've left out, and we definitely handle this next time as well, just to ensure that, you know, our families are being transformed and being stronger, because that is all we desire to see. My name is Faith Kaulu, and this is Transforming Families. Till next time, goodbye.
Thank you.